Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dave Finara. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at DMI, and thank you very much for joining us today on today's webinar. The title of today's webinar is the number one thing a $60 million producer does to increase sales for free. Before I begin, I'd just like to ask a general question. How would you like to grow your business, increase your credibility, and grow your pipeline for free? That will be the topic of today's conversation. We have spent a lot of time analyzing the results of all of the financial advisors that we deal with, and we've come across a common theme with some of our top producers, one of which is in excess of $60 million of annual annuity premium. And we've found that what they all have in common is this three-legged approach. Obviously, they do seminars. They have an email or a website strategy, and they also have a social media strategy. And that's the piece we'd like to talk to you about today. Social media strategy in the financial advisor world does not seem to be keeping up with the rest of the industries. So what I'd like to do today is just talk about that for a minute and just start off maybe with some statistics. Did you know that 80% of all consumer buying decisions involve some type of Google search? In order to increase your results on a Google search, the more content you have, the better chance you have of appearing on a Google search. And here's an interesting statistic. Did you know more people own a mobile device than they own a toothbrush? And the third statistic, 70% of all retirees who have internet access are on Facebook. So my question is, are you all on social media? What I'd like to talk about today is blogging. And joining us today is Kristen Kisluk. Kristen is our digital marketing specialist here at DMI. Welcome, Kristen.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.
So what I'd like to do is start off asking Kristen a few questions. Prior to that, let me just give you a little bit of background on Kristen. Kristen grew up on social media. She's actually enrolled in a master's degree program at Syracuse University in digital communication. The reason I bring this up is Kristen provides state-of-the-art information in a changing world that happens every day. So Kristen is our resident expert on blogging. So Kristen, to start off, could you just tell the audience what is a blog and what is blogging?
Sure. So a blog is basically should be an informal conversation with your audience. So it's usually run by one person or a small group of people. That's a very informal, usually a how-to guide or some sort of educational content broken down into a very simple way that's easy for people to understand. And a big part of it is that it's updated regularly, as you can see on the screen there, a little short definition of what a blog actually is.
So Kristen, my next question is, why should I blog? If I'm a financial advisor that doesn't have a lot of experience working with social media, how can I blog and why should I blog?
So blogging is a great way to not only increase your leads, but also your value and your credibility to your prospects and clients, all for free. So there's really some great statistics that are on the next slide that show how blogging has affected small businesses. 126% more leads than those without a blog. And that is because the more you blog, the easier it is for people to find you on a Google search. So basically, as you continue to blog, you're adding more and more pages to your website with each post, which in turn increases your ranking in Google. So people that blog actually see 55% more visitors to their website through blogging alone. Also, 81% of U.S. consumers trust advice from blogs. People are going online more and more for reviews and advice, so one of the best ways for you to stand out as a credible organization and company for them to come to for their financial advice and help is through blogging. It'll really show that, you know, you have been doing this for a while, you know the business, you know the answers to their questions, and really prove that your company has value. Also, 72% of marketers are doing it, so it's becoming more and more popular. And also another stat that is not up there is 78% of consumers believe that companies that produce custom content are interested in building good relationships with them. So I'm sure that's something all of you want to do with your clients and prospects, come across as a relatable source, and prove to them that, you know, you're really here to help them and build a relationship with them.
Now, Kristen, for the novices, if I am getting my blog out to thousands of people, I'm assuming this costs a lot of money.
Actually, the great thing about blogging is it is completely free. All it takes is really adding it to your website, which might entail maybe adding a page or a new link on your site. But other than that, it's really just writing it, getting it posted, and sharing it through social media, emails, and any other ways. So another big question we have is, how do I go about starting to blog? It sounds like a lot of work, but it actually is pretty simple. You want to keep it casual, short, and simple. So like I said, it should be an informal conversation, very relatable. It should sound like you're basically sitting down with your client, except you're not face-to-face. They're just reading, almost like your personal journal. Short, you want to keep it under 800 words. Ideal blogs are about 500 to 800 words, which is really just the length of one page in Microsoft Word. So again, it doesn't have to be a 7-page paper. You want to keep it short. People don't have crazy long attention spans, so they're really just going to be quickly skimming through your post. So don't worry about it being long. And simple, easy to read. Lists are great, how-to guides, your top 10 tips, or anything along that nature. I'm sure you guys have seen blog posts and articles titled like that. So it really is easier than a lot of people think.
Now, what about the time? We've heard folks that we've spoken to for the first or second time, we've talked about blogs, and they've always said to us, boy, this sounds like it takes a lot of time. How would you address that?
Sure. So my tip for taking up as least amount of time as possible with blogging is to do a little bit of it each night. If your blog for the week is a top 10 list, you know, do two points a night and you'll be done by the end of the week. I have to write papers for school all the time, and you know, I usually don't sit down and write my 10-page paper all in one night, so I find it much easier to break it up night by night, page by page, and before you know it, you're done. Or some people are the types that, you know, like to sit down and do all blog posts for their month in one day, which that's fine too. So it's really just personal preference. Breaking it up into bits and chunks seems to be a lot easier. Just as, you know, the thoughts come to your mind, just jot down what you're thinking, and then before you know it, you'll have a post.
Now, I guess the next question is, you know, what do I blog about? I may have the first or the second blog, maybe talking about my business, my setup, maybe my personal story perhaps. But besides that, what else do you think I could blog about?
So the topics that you blog about really depend on your audience and what they're looking for and looking to find answers to. Again, you want to make it shareable and relatable. So it's back to just answering your client's questions, your prospects' questions, it's probably stuff that you answer on a day-to-day basis on your calls or appointments or at your seminars that people are asking you, and those are the best topics to then bring into a blog post, because they're going to be things that people are out there on Google, on Facebook looking for answers to, and you want to be the one that has the answers to their questions. So on the next slide, there's a little example. So questions that your clients and prospects have. I'm sure a common one is, how much do I need to save for retirement? That can easily be spun into a blog post, 10 ways to start saving for retirement now. How do I cut back on my spending? How to create a budget in 5 steps. So it's just thinking about those questions that you're consistently asked over and over again, and then just bringing that into a solution rather than the question. These are pretty basic topics, but you can get creative based on your audience with the title or what you find that they're asking and looking for. Another great way to kind of come up with some topics is to base it on current events or themes. New Year's is a great time of year to do, get your finances in shape, kind of play it as the New Year's resolution type of thing. Tax season, you could do a blog about what to do with your tax refund or what to do before taxes. You could probably plan, a whole month, February, March, around preparing for taxes, and then April, when people are getting their tax returns, what to do with that. So it's really, you can get creative with it and just tailor it to what your audience is responding best to.
Well, keep in mind, folks, this advice comes from a $60 million annuity producer who has all of the stool legs, if you will: social media, seminars, website, email drip campaign. Blogging is an easy step that you can start with, and it's free. And the results can be astronomical. You can grow your business. You can absolutely grow your credibility. And if, again, I go back to that first statistic, 80% of all consumer buying decisions start with a Google search. Are you searchable? This is one way to create some material that's personal. Maybe your clients will be able to get to know you before they even meet you, because they are Googling you. I guarantee it. Kristen, is there anything else you'd like to add in regards to blogging?
No, just that I encourage everyone to do it, and if you do want more information, you can visit the web link that is on your screen right now, or the link will be posted on DMI's company LinkedIn page, so you can check us out there and follow us there and get the blogging guide that will give you more resources, talk about everything that I talked about today and more, and that is a free resource that you can download by visiting either of those sites on your screen right now.
Again, folks, DMI's social media expert, Kristen, has created a blogging guide that is available to all of you who have attended this webinar today, simply by visiting the website address that you see on your screen, or clicking on the DMI.com or calling DMI. Again, we're also on social media outlets, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. If you have any questions, please feel free to call. Again, my name is Dave Fanar. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at DMI, and I'd like to thank Kristen for joining us today. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.